Hey, sports fans. Welcome to the first episode of the Fan Rant Podcast. I am your host, Michael Pardal. Bang! Bang! This is a podcast made by a fan for the fans. Each week, we'll break down what's going on around the league, react to the biggest stories, and of course, deliver some rants. We also have more segments, including the weekly rant, where I rant about a specific sports story that really pisses me off. Then we have Fan Court, where we put debates on trial. Each week we take a controversial play, decision, player, or storyline and turn it into a courtroom case. I serve as the judge, jury, and executioner. I am the law! And finally, we have the hot seat, where I call out a coach, player, team, or front office that deserves the pressure they get from fans. Let's start off the Fan Rant Podcast with news around the league. We start in the NFL with the New York Giants. Jackson Dart, quarterback for the Giants, is out again with a concussion. He still has not cleared concussion protocol. He's out for the second straight game. Jameis Winston will start again versus the Lions. Giants are on the verge of losing 10 games. This could be their sixth loss in a row. The only positive is that the Giants are in a position that where in the upcoming draft, they could trade back and get several picks from a team needing a quarterback. Do I trust this front office? No, not really. Let's move on. Joe Burrow won't be suiting up after all for week 12 against the Pats. He's been practicing all week as he recovers from his toe turf injury he's suffering in week 2. He has been taking first team reps, but head coach Zach Taylor says he'll probably be ready for the Thanksgiving game against the Baltimore Ravens. For now, Joe Flacco will at least get one more start as they try to keep any chance of the playoffs alive. They will also be without Jamar Chase, who was suspended for one game after spitting on cornerback Jalen Ramsey against the Steelers last week. Lions tight end Sam Laporta could be out for the rest of the season after he had to get back surgery for an injury he suffered a few weeks ago. He was put on the IR last week, but it turns out it was more serious. He could be out for the rest of the season. Backup tight end Brock Wright will start for him. Head coach Dan Campbell says there's a slim chance he could come back this season. Huge blow for the Lions. He's a top 5 tight end. On to the NBA. The Lakers fire Bus brothers Joey and Jesse from their scouting positions. They are the younger brothers of Jeannie Buss, who is the former owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. She has recently sold the team to Mark Walter for over $10 billion back in June. The brothers will still keep minority ownership shares of the team. The Buss family is slowly being pushed out of the front office, and Mark Walter is putting his own people in, as he should. The Buss family, besides Jeannie Buss, have not been very good front office minds. They have made some very questionable decisions in terms of scouting and also player development. Jeannie Buss also is the only Buss family member a front office job. She continues to serve as team governor. LaMelo Ball denies reports that he's open to a trade after rumors circulated that he wants out. One of his recent interviews, he said that he loves playing for the Hornets and he just wants to win. No one believes that 1 second. The Hornets are trash. Everybody knows it. And it's definitely likely LaMelo said that he wants out. But he denies it. I mean, he has to deny it because if he doesn't, he's going to look bad. He's going to look like the bad guy. But it's too late for that. Everybody and their mother knows he wants out. But let's move on. He could get a decent trade haul back for any team willing to trade for him. He's certainly a all-star level scorer that a team could desperately use. Certainly get more pick capital than what the Mavericks got for Luka Doncic. But I digress. Let's move on. Knicks superstar Karl Anthony Towns auctioned a rare Dodgers Yoshinobu Yamamoto card for $72,000. It was a one-of-one rarity card from the 2024 Topps Inception MLB Logo Man collection. It was the most expensive Yamamoto card of all time. Those valuations will continue to rise and auctions will continue to set more records. On to Major League Baseball. The non-tender deadline passed yesterday. This means that teams can decline to give players a contract. This means that teams can deny to give players a contract before they have a chance to receive a raise in arbitration hearings. It's only for players still under team control. So when someone gets non-tendered, that means that they become a free agent and that any team can sign them now in the offseason. Some notable players that got non-tendered from the Rangers: Adolis Garcia, who is a two-time All-Star and the 2023 ALS MVP, and his teammate Jonah Heim, who is an All-Star catcher, was also non-tendered. So those two become free agents. They are top on the list of hottest names that have been non-tendered and can be really good players for another team. Another player is first baseman from the Red Sox, Nathaniel Lowe, who had a down season but is a very good defensive first baseman. And also Braves pitcher Alek Manoah, who is a former Cy Young contending pitcher who has struggled with injuries in recent seasons. But if the right team finds him, he can be a useful pitcher. Yankees GM Brian Cashman says that he's talking to the agents of Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker, even after paying Trent Grisham a $22 million qualifying offer, which is a head scratcher because not even Yankees fans are sure what exactly he's doing, because that's a lot of money to pay a guy who's only had one good season. Even if it's a 1-year deal, that's still a lot of money to give one player for someone who hasn't really shown anything besides last season. But we'll talk about that more later. Also, listen to how he says meme.
You know this is a meme. You know this is a meme.
I mean, I've never heard anyone say it like that, and I mean, of course, it was Brian Cashman that said it like that. But anyways, he says signing Trent Grisham won't stop him from doing what he has to do in the offseason. As a Yankees fan, I don't really believe him. I'm very skeptical because the front office, Hal Steinbrenner, the owner, has said that he doesn't want to go over $300 million, and this is looking like if he were to sign these free agents, it will go over $300 million. But we'll see. Now it's time for our weekly rant, and it's the Jets benching Justin Fields. Benched him for Tyrod Taylor. Now, they think that this change could change around their season. Maybe win a few more games, maybe kickstart the offense a little bit, or make them play better. But Tyrod Taylor, I don't think so, buddy. Your team is going to lose badly no matter what, whether it's Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields. The offense isn't going to change much. It's going to be the Brees Hall show the entire time, no matter if it's Fields or Taylor. Like, give me a break. Like, at least with Fields, he's a better runner, sure, but they're going to run anyway, so why not just keep him starting? Because they're not going to throw much, even with Taylor. Taylor is not going to all of a sudden make this a decent offense. I could promise you that. I've watched the Jets enough to know that. But, at the same time, yes, Justin Fields looks like a broken man, and he is probably done. He is probably not going to be trusted to be a starting quarterback in the league ever again. But let's not blame Justin Fields. Let's blame the front office. Let's blame the coaching. I mean, Aaron Glenn, awful coach. You look at him and he screams, "Oh, he looks like a coach." But when you actually watch him coaching, he's awful. He actually doesn't know what he's doing. He's a good defensive coordinator, a really good defensive coordinator, but the dude has no idea how to coach. Yet he talks a big game. He doesn't like talking to the media, and he talks like he knows how to win. What has he won exactly? He's done nothing. He's made the Jets look like the same old Jets. He came into the offseason wanting to change the culture, but zero culture has been changed. Jets fans, I feel for you, man. As a Giants fan, I feel the same way about my coaching staff and owner and front office. But going back to the Jets front office, why would you give Justin Fields a 2-year, $40 million contract when you knew that this could have been a possibility? So now you're going to be stuck with that contract, or at least you're going to be stuck with a hefty price to release him. According to reports, if the Jets were to release him after June 1st of 2026, they would save $10 million against the 2026 salary cap, but they would still have to eat $13 million in dead money. So it doesn't really help them that much. They still have to pay a price to release him, which is something you don't want to do when you're rebuilding, especially now that you are actually rebuilding after trading away Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. This reminds me of like the benching of Daniel Jones with the Giants last season, where they gave him a good amount of money. In fact, they gave him more money than Fields, disgustingly. But the front office released him mid-season because they were able to have some sort of out on their contract. The Jets have that too, but they won't release him mid-season. Even with the 3 first-round picks that they have now, I do not trust them drafting or developing a quarterback. They're going to get it wrong one way or another. That's what history has shown, and it's quite embarrassing. But we'll talk about more of this in our next segment. It is now time for Fan Court. Case number 1, the people versus the Jets front office. Their charge, reckless mismanagement of the QB position. Again, court is now in session. For the 10th time in what feels like 3 seasons, the Jets have benched their starting quarterback, this time Justin Fields. The fans accuse the front office of QB malpractice, organizational negligence, and emotional destruction of the fan base. This is the same movie we've been forced to watch year after year ever since Mark Sanchez was considered the franchise quarterback. Oh, I'm sorry, the Sanchez. Every year, the Jets swear it's different, but it's never different. And then every year, there's always chaos happening. A benching, panic, finger pointing, emotional damage. The Jets brought in Justin Fields, who's a vet and has some sort of starting caliber traits, but it did not work out. The offense has collapsed. The offensive line collapsed. The season is in shambles. And suddenly, Justin Fields is benched mid-season for Tyrod Taylor, who will probably not make this offense any different. He's also older than some of these podcast viewers, but as I said before, this isn't a quarterback problem. This is a organizational problem. Every single year they fail to develop a quarterback, even when they do draft them high. Let's look back at all the quarterbacks that have started for the Jets recently. Sam Darnold, disaster. Zach Wilson, disaster. Aaron Rodgers, disaster. And also tore his Achilles on his 4th play starting for the Jets. And Justin Fields benched mid-season. At some point, it becomes your fault. How many times will this happen before it becomes your fault? I wonder. The Jets front office is guilty of QB mismanagement in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree, and fans demand justice. On to the defense. The Jets front office actually gave themselves flexibility to get out of this contract with guarantees and void years. If the experience fails, they have to pay a price, but it's not that much of a bad price compared to other situations like this. And Justin Fields was bad. He had to be benched for someone else. He is a broken man. The offense stinks. Their defense stinks. But Tyrod Taylor is not going to make the team better. In fact, it's probably going to look the same. And let's not forget, Fields walked into a bad situation, but the Jets offered him a contract. Everybody knew this team was going to stink, but they probably had some hope, I'm sure. After hearing both sides, reviewing the evidence, and remembering all the Jets fans that are in therapy as the judge, jury, and executioner, I find the Jets front office guilty of QB mismanagement. Again, still and always, forever, for eternity, until there's divine intervention. I hereby sentence Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, to sell the team immediately. This concludes case number 1 of Fan Court. If you got your own rulings, if you got your own rants, send them in through the comments. Court is adjourned. And finally, it's time for the hot seat. Who's on the hot seat today? The Yankees front office, specifically Brian Cashman. This comes on the heels of Trent Grisham accepting a $22 million qualifying offer. What on earth are they doing? It's the first major move of the Yankees this offseason, with Trent Grisham signing a large contract like that, even if it's for 1 year. $22 million is a lot for a player who's only had 1 good season in his career, which happened to be last year. But I don't blame him. He said, sure, I'll take that money. He probably wasn't going to get that much money anywhere else at an annual value. This is so weird to me because were the Yankees expecting him to decline, thinking that he could test the market and they just gave him this offer as a courtesy? That's what it looks like. And they probably weren't expecting that. And if that's the case, then you deserve what you get. Brian Cashman leading this team to a mediocre run next year, it's what they deserve if that is the case. Why would you give him a contract like that? Even if it's 1 year, why would you give him a contract worth $22 million when you have the chance to pursue Cody Bellinger and Tucker, who are way better players than Trent Grisham? And let's not forget, even if you do try to pursue one of them, it's going to clog up the outfield once again when you already have a prospect in Spencer Jones who is aching to make it on a major league roster. This is a huge overpay for a guy who's only had one good season. I don't know what they are thinking. This move also concerns me because now I'm afraid that this means that they won't pursue Cody Bellinger or Tucker as hard as they should. Hal Steinbrenner, the owner of the Yankees, has said several times that he does not want to go over $300 million. And if they do sign one of them, they will go over $300 million. They are already at the cusp after signing Grisham. And there are other teams that are willing to pay money for both of them. But only the Yankees, out of all the rich teams, only the Yankees seem to be concerned about the payroll when they are the richest team in the league. Brian Cashman may have a lifetime contract with the Yankees, but you will forever be on the hot seat until the Yankees win another championship because this team scares nobody. Not one team is scared of the Yankees anymore. The only person in the lineup that has teams concerned is Aaron Judge, and that's going to be the case no matter what. He is the MVP. He is the best right-handed hitter of all time. If they don't get a big bat this offseason, this lineup is going to be terrible. You cannot rely on Giancarlo Stanton. You cannot rely on Anthony Volpe. You cannot rely on Trent Grisham. You cannot rely on Austin Wells to be that support that Aaron Judge needs. I hope they know what they're doing because if not, they're going to hear it from us. So if you got anyone that you want to put on the hot seat, let me know in the comments. And that's it for the first episode of the Fan Rant Podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening. This is the first one of many, hopefully. So like and subscribe. And if you got any takes about me, the episode, or the topics we went through, let me know. And don't forget to follow me on all socials at Fan Rant Pod. I'll talk to you guys later.